One of the rites of passage that most sous vide cooks have to go through is setting off every smoke alarm in their house. There's one reason why that happens to most sous viders. I'm going to tell you what it is coming up next on Amazing Food Made Easy. Hey there, I'm Jason Logston from Amazing Food Made Easy and president of the International Sous Vide Association. And today I want to talk to you about how to not set off every smoke alarm you have in your house. This is not foolproof. I live in a small New York apartment and I still set it off after sous viding for over a decade. But this is something that's going to help you a lot. And that's searing in an oil with a high smoke point. The general problem that we run into is that when oil is heated, at a certain point it starts to break down and then it begins to smoke. And above that temperature, it smokes more and more and more. Different oils have different smoke points. They can range from 450 to almost 500 degrees, all the way down to like 150 and 200 degrees. And so if you're using the wrong oil to sear, it can be really, really hard to sear anything without setting off your smoke alarms and just creating a ton of smoke. And it's not just visual and a pain in the butt. Because it's a sign of the oil breaking down, it also can change the flavor of the oil. Some oils taste really bad when they go above their smoke point. So you can be adding some negative flavors to your food, which none of us want. When it comes to what oil to actually sear with, there's a lot of different information out there. But in general, you can break it down into a few different categories. The first are oils that you can heat above 500 degrees. These are perfect for sous vide. We want to have a short sear and as quick of a sear as possible. So getting that pan as hot as we can without creating a ton of smoke is critical to it. And those two are avocado oil and refined safflower oil. Those are both great oils that you can use for pretty much any searing process. Then there's a bunch that can be heated to 450 degrees or above. These also work really well. Oftentimes they're cheaper than the other two, so you can turn to them. And these are some favorites that a lot of people will mention they use all the time. And those are extra light olive oil, not extra virgin, but the extra light. The more refined something is, the higher the smoke point is, the more it holds up to heat. So the refined extra light olive oil can be great. Clarified butter or ghee can be really, really good. And refined peanut oil also works really well. Sunflower oil and corn oil also fit in this category and can be heated above 450 as well. Then there's a bunch that can be heated to like 400. These can work if they're what you have on hand. They will work fine, but you're going to have to be a lot more careful about setting off those smoke alarms. And that's refined coconut oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, refined sesame oil, and some other vegetable oils. Those are the cutoff that I would say of what oils you can use during your searing process. Because if you can't get above 300 or 350, you're really going to have trouble getting a sear on the outside without overcooking the inside of your food. Another great way to minimize the amount of smoke is to minimize the amount of oil that you're using. If you put a lot of oil in a pan and have a small steak in the middle, all the oil around the steak is going to be smoking much more than the little bit of oil that's under the steak. So you can just put a little bit in the pan, or you can put the oil directly onto the steak or the chicken itself and then put it in the pan. This helps minimize the smoke because not only is there less oil in the pan, so there's less oil smoking, but the oil that's underneath the meat also stays cooler longer, and so it's not going to go above that smoking temperature nearly as quickly. And this is why some people really like to use a mayo sear. They put a thin layer of mayonnaise on the outside of the meat, and then they use that as the conduit for the heat when they put it in the pan. It's a good way to minimize the amount of oil that you have, and some people swear by using a mayo sear. I haven't experimented with that yet. Maybe that will be an upcoming video of me going through the mayo sear process. We'll have to see. But for now, you know a lot of ways that you can minimize the amount of smoke that you're creating during the sous vide searing process, which will allow you to get your pan hotter, get your sear better, and minimize the internal overcooking that can occur from longer searing. Till next time, I'm Jason Logston.